Hello and welcome to Roadcraft. If you want to be a smarter, better, and safer driver, you're in the right place. In this episode, are you a good multitasker? Trick question. There's no such thing as multitasking. Don't believe me? Stick around. I'll explain. I've heard people brag about being a good multitasker. I guess if bragging about fictional skills is your thing, who am I to judge? Claiming to be good at multitasking is like saying you're good at Quidditch or you're good at regrowing limbs. Unless you found a portal to Hogwarts or you're a starfish, I'm not buying it. What we call multitasking is more correctly task switching. Your brain doesn't do multiple tasks at the same time. When you try to do two things at once, your brain switches between them. Task switching isn't free. As you go from one task to the next, there's a bit of time when you're not processing anything. That's called switching cost. Switching cost isn't the same for everyone, but nearly all of us pay it. There are people who can switch between tasks with almost no switching cost. They're called supertaskers, and you're not one of them. Or at least that's a safe bet on my end. When researchers were looking for supertaskers, they tested 1,000 people and found only 2. And here's another problem. The people who try to multitask the most tend to be the worst at it, which reaffirms, if you think you're good at it, that's key evidence that you're not. Sometimes the cost of task switching is inconsequential. If you fold your laundry while watching K-pop Demon Hunters and you miss a bit of the story or misfold your towels, no big deal. But if you're doing something that's not driving while you're driving, that's a problem. The cost of task switching is correlated to the cognitive demand of the task. When you go for a walk, you're not thinking about each step you're taking. You've done this so many times that it's a simple routine you mostly don't have to think about. You could easily listen to a podcast while taking a walk with minimal cost. If you've been driving for a while, you can be misled into feeling the same way about driving. Driving is routine until it isn't. If you're engaged in another cognitive task like talking on the phone or scrolling through your playlist for the perfect song and your driving environment suddenly becomes not routine, you're going to experience a delay in your decision making as you switch your focus from talking or scrolling to driving. That is, if you even notice that you need to make a switch. When you try and do two things at once, you may experience something called inattention blindness. It happens when you don't notice something, even if you're looking right at it, because you've directed your attention to something else. Your eyes can see it, but your mind doesn't perceive it. For example, a driver talking on their phone could be looking straight ahead and fail to see a traffic light turn red, so they run the stop. We see how that shows up in the crash data. Talking on the phone while driving, one of the more common task switching schemes, multiplies your risk of a crash fourfold. That's the same risk level for a driver with a 0.08 blood alcohol level. Being drunk and trying to multitask aren't the same thing, but if you break your femur in a crash, your recovery process doesn't care how you broke it. You've got months of healing and physical therapy either way. So here's the take-home message. Multitasking isn't real. You're no good at doing two things at once, and the more you try, the more you're going to fail. It's not something you can get better at practicing because the wiring in our brain just doesn't have the network for it. Instead of trying to win at a game you're rigged to lose, look at it this way. Knowing we are incapable of multitasking gives us permission to not have to try. Staying focused on the most important task at the moment reduces your stress, increases the likelihood of success, and when you're on the road, makes you a safer driver. It's time to admit we can't multitask and start getting good at one thing at a time, like driving.